Oh, no. Oh, no. Welcome back. There it is. Welcome back to that show. It is Big Bag, fresh off the truck Thursday, March 25th, 2021. Joining us right now is a man who just signed, after a little bit of a storyline about whether or not it was going to happen. Newest member of the New York Giants, ladies and gentlemen, tight end, Kyle Rudolph. Kyle, how's it going, pal?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Hey, where are you right now, hanging out? I see you're in a room that has zero light.
I'm up in Minnesota at home. So we got back home from New York yesterday.
How was the trip to New York? It was pretty eventful from what I heard on the other side of the Twitterverse here.
It was certainly more eventful than I thought it was going to be. You sign contracts and you have your routine physical that nothing really ever comes about from. And I had the foot injury during the season that cost me to miss the last 4 games, and I didn't need surgery at the time. It was something that was going to heal on its own. And, here I was the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks, running and training and doing everything completely normal. My foot didn't feel any different. But after some pictures in that physical, they realized that it's gonna need to get cleaned up a little bit. But, it's a blessing in disguise, because had I not signed with a new team and had a physical in March, we don't have our physicals usually until you go back for training camp. And, we would have had no idea that my foot even had an issue, and I could have just trained all off season or gone to training camp and potentially made it a lot worse. So I'm glad I'm just able to get it fixed now in March, and I'll be ready to go when it's time to play football.
Well, a couple things. Congratulations on the contract.
Yeah. Thank
awesome. You. Very awesome. Okay. Very happy for you. I think what the Giants are doing right now seems like they're going all in. I enjoy that a lot. Giants fans have to love it. You don't know this yet. You haven't got to experience it, but that division stinks, Kyle. You might have 70,000 yards next year. Can't wait to watch it. But you're right about that blessing in disguise thing, because I assume at this age, right, in the NFL, there are things that are sore on you, but you've had conversation with people like, you can't hurt it worse. It's going to hurt. You just keep it moving there. Now, Was there an actual conversation or a thought? Because publicly it was like, whoa, this deal, because of the physical, might fall through. Did it ever feel like that through the entire thing after the pictures were sent? Or were the Giants basically like, let's look at this a little bit more, but we feel pretty good about everything?
No, the conversations were never, is the deal on and off the table. It was, do you have to have your foot fixed now or not? And, that was really the uncertainty, because, a joint in your foot is not like an ACL. If you throw an ACL MRI up there on the screen and the ACL's torn, you have to fix it. There are certain things that some people would say, yeah, I think you should fix that, or no, I think it'll be fine. You'll be okay. So it was more just the predictability of, do we fix this or not? And if so, we need to move forward and make that happen. So that was more the discussions. I went out to dinner with some of the Giants people on Tuesday night, and, never was I like, oh man, I'm not going to have a contract anymore.
Okay.
So yeah, we just pretty much spent all day Tuesday calling doctors and getting opinions, trying to figure out what to do.
Okay, because outside looking in, it felt as if there was a chance. Now, it didn't feel like a big chance, but it was like, oh, hold on, this Kyle Rudolph Giants thing might not happen. It's nice to know that the Giants were never felt like that. Have you gotten a chance? I assume you said you went to dinner. Was Joe Judge involved in that? I've only seen Joe Judge recover a fumble in training camp in the mud. And then now, with the way that whole thing is going, what was the pitch basically for the Giants? Because a lot of free agents are signing there. They're re-signing their own guys. What was the conversation about what the Giants' future is going to look like, and why are you excited, aside from the cash? Aside from the cash, though, what is the thought of what the Giants are going to be, and what are they telling people whenever they get in the building?
Well, so I talked to Coach Joe Judge on the phone, really right in the middle of the free agent process. And, I probably spent 25, 30 minutes just chatting with him, getting to know one another all the way back to, his high school sport days in Philly, where I grew up, his coaching path, and kind of what are his beliefs? How does he want to build this thing? And once I hung up the phone with him, I knew that this was the place that I needed to go to. Yes, I'm an older guy in the league, but at the same time, I don't foresee the end of my career here in the near future. I'd love to play for another 5, 6, 7 years. And when I see the way that he's building this organization in New York, and like you said, the pieces that are being brought in this year, keeping their own guys there, building around the young quarterback that's extremely talented, I see this as a great opportunity for me for the next however many years. And obviously then you take Coach Joe Judge and his culture and the way that he's building things, and you add an offensive coordinator like Jason Garrett, the success that he had in Dallas with a pretty good tight end that played well into his 30s as well.
Yeah, terrible commentator.
He knows how to use a tight end that's old and slow like myself. So I'm looking forward to being in that system.
Hey, how about Jason Witten? People forgetting how damn good he was at football because of that 1 year run in Monday Night Football. That was, people forgot. He had to get back out there. Like the Witten team was like, hey man, we got to listen.
Got to play another
People
year.
have forgot how good you were. He's unbelievable at football, and that offense was beautiful to watch, both with Tony and Dak, and then obviously when he went out to the Raiders there. 5, 6, 7 more years, I think is possible, especially now that he doesn't have that busted ass foot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That busted ass.
That's why I got to fix it.
Have you talked to the young quarterback that has a lot of, it seems like his upside is there. I mean, he reminds me a lot of, and this is going to sound so stupid because I think a lot of people have said it and it's not very original or whatever, but when you see him start to run, now I'm not going to say he's the same player as Andrew Luck. Andrew Luck, his rookie year, was an NFL vet already. It was just a whole different thing. But his body, his size, it feels like his will, his arm, it's all there. It's just, can they keep him alive long enough to make the plays? Have you talked to him? What has been your experience with him? What are your first thoughts on him? And also Saquon, have you got a chance? Because there's some superstars on that Giants team that you just got added to as well.
Absolutely. I got to talk to Daniel over the weekend, and first of all, I didn't realize how young he was. He's only 23 years old, and I just assumed he was a 4 or 5 year guy at Duke, and then obviously he's been in the league now, going on his third year. We went up 2 years ago and played against the Giants, and I remember watching him in that game and some of the throws that he made. I remember talking to some of our defensive guys like Everson Griffin, Harrison Smith. They were like, dude, this quarterback's got some juice to him. He's a stud. And then you watch him kind of over the last 2 years, and you said it, he's got all the intangibles to be an Andrew Luck type quarterback. Hopefully we put a bunch of pieces around him and we can take some of the pressure off of him, let him just go out there and play with confidence and let all those attributes and abilities take over. And then you mentioned Saquon. I haven't talked to Saquon yet, but I would like to think now this will be my 11th year, and I've probably blocked for 3 Hall of Fame running backs in a row. I mean, going Adrian Dalvin certainly off to a hot start in his career, and you look what Saquon's done throughout his first couple years. So as a pretty average blocker, it's always good to have unbelievable running backs running behind you.
Hold on. I heard the quote. I heard that the Vikings, the change of the system was another blessing in disguise for you because you were forced to almost get better at blocking. Look at you. You got to get out there and set your feet, huh?
I had to get down and dirty for a couple of years. I'm used to just running around and catching balls, and that wasn't the case the last couple of years in Minnesota.
I don't know Garrett's offense well enough, and I do remember Witten having success, and I don't know if it's the exact same offense that he's running over there, but your plan is to get back to catching balls, huh?
Absolutely. And that certainly played a big part into why I wanted to go to New York as well. I feel like I have a lot left to offer in that aspect of the game. But at the same time, now over the last 2 years, I've figured out this blocking thing a little bit, and I can certainly help on first and second down, be out there, just like I said, when you block for a guy like Saquon Barkley, it doesn't take much, and he's going to hit a home run every time.
Yeah, he's gone. He is explosive. The Giants missed him mightily last year, I assume, in the locker room and also on the field. You had that tiptoe, nimble big guy catch in the back of the end zone, if I do recall, right? You still got a little in there, huh?
I like to think I still got a little bit, but, that was the only ball that came to me in the end zone last year, so I had to make sure I caught it.
Oh, my God. This might never happen again. Let me go ahead and figure this out. Hey,
who cares where it's at? I got to grab it.
How long's the recovery for that foot?
Just a couple months. Like I said, we're just cleaning something up, and I shouldn't miss any football stuff. I'm looking forward to getting back out on the field there when we start going training camp into the regular season.
Well, okay, you said training camp going into the regular season. I won't miss any football stuff. I guess there's a big conversation right now. You're an OG in the league now at this point in year 11. You're probably a part of this conversation. NFLPA, NFL having conversations about the offseason remaining what it was last year. Like, hey, a lot of guys are like, okay, yeah, I tried it one time without it. It was like the lockout year was the best. Like I remember wanting a lockout every year. And now, granted, going to a new team, a new offense, I would assume reps in meetings and everything like that's going to help. Your thoughts on I don't want you to say like, I think this is the right way or this way. Do you think there's a chance though that off seasons going forward are going to be much more like what we saw last year from the conversations you're hearing amongst the NFLPA, or do you think the NFL is going to win that and say we need you back in the building?
Well, I'm not in any of the PA conversations, but I understand the young player side, and obviously I see the perspective as an 11-year vet side. The thing that I would say, if we were to have last year's off season, hopefully we can at least have some preseason games. Those preseason games are far more important to younger guys who that's their resume. What you put on tape in those 2-3 preseason games that you get to play in, that's not only your resume for the team you're currently on, but for the other 31 teams as well to evaluate you. But I will say for young guys, the setup that we had last year with kind of the virtual meetings for a few weeks, and then a couple of weeks leading into training camp was like, all right, they called them, they were almost phase 1 and phase 2 of the old off-season program, OTAs type stuff.
Yeah, classroom.
In my opinion,
cardio.
In my opinion, it helped bring young guys along so much quicker than, hey, we're going to bring you in for rookie minicamp. We're going to give you an hour install. We're going to throw you on the field with a bunch of Tommy tryhards that are trying to prove to the NFL scouts that they need to be out there when 50 out of the 60 guys aren't going to be on the roster the next week. And then the next thing that happen is they get thrown on the roster with a bunch of vets, and then they're around vets at practice. And I just think the setup last year, where by the time we hit the field in late July, these rookies had gone through an install 3-4 times and they hit the ground running. And I think a lot of our young players were able to contribute this year. Most notably, Justin Jefferson, who was a phenomenal rookie, just went out and made plays from day one. And I'm not saying that Justin wouldn't have had a great year. I just think when we showed up in July, he was ready to roll. And, it was almost allowed his natural ability to take over because he wasn't grinding through all these installs and thinking about, the nuances of an offense. He had already been through it 3 or 4 times. So I think there are good things from both a young player and an old player's perspective with last year's offseason. I would like to see preseason games, especially for the young guys, because that's their resume. That's their only opportunity to show what they got.
What a hero. Let's go. Hey, it's bigger than him, Kyle says. Yeah. This is bigger than me. All right, it's bigger than me, Kyle.
Well, trust me, I love the offseason too. I don't have to show up till mid-July. I can really, well, not this year. My golf game just got destroyed for the next couple months, but normally I'd play a lot of golf.
I was gonna say you went to Notre Dame, so I assume you're now. Granted, I watched that admission scandal. That means nothing, I guess, at this point. Where it doesn't matter where you went to. Did you see that doc?
I haven't seen it, but I know what you're talking about.
Oh wait, you
let's be honest. The only reason I went to Notre Dame was because of football.
Well, there's a lot of people that gone to a lot of schools for sports that they had no idea even existed before they got a scholarship for said sport. It just seems one of those things. Learning a new offense, though, anything for you? Or have you? I assume you already have the iPad. You're already looking into it. Is there anything?
Playing for a defensive coach for 10 years. My first 3 years I played for Leslie Frazier, and then the last 7, Coach Zimmer. This is my 6th offensive coordinator in 6 years, so it's just kind of like this is what we do in the off season. You learn a new offense. So now I'll have quite a few more new teammates than I've had the last few years. But in terms of learning a new offense, learning a new system, it's just the 6th year in a row that I'm going through it.
Some people are saying that Kyle's potentially a big dumb dipshit. Turns out that's not that's not the case at all. Nope. This guy has 6 offenses already in 10 years. Unbelievable. Wow. Hey, your statement there about playing for a defensive coach having different coordinators is so interesting and fascinating. And while you were saying it, I was like, oh yeah, that probably is the kid. When the defensive guy's in charge, it's like, hey, that offense needs to be better. We need to do that whole thing. Probably much more likely than if an offensive guy's in charge. It's like, hey, our defense is letting us down. That's kind of like a natural human instinct in this entire thing. Fascinated by it all. What do you have, Connor?
Yeah, Kyle, there was a report last year that Joe Judge went up against the offensive line coach, Colombo, and that they threw hands. Based on your conversation...
That was debunked by most parties that were around, but that was a conversation at one point.
Yeah, based on your conversation with him, talking about playing sports back in the day, do you think Joe Judge is someone who would go up against somebody, who has 100 pounds, maybe 4 inches on him?
No, I never realized until I sat down in his office yesterday and got to spend some time with him. He's a big dude, and I could see it. I mean, he's a big dude, and he's fiery. I love his energy. I love what he brings to the table, his attitude. Obviously, Pat, you referenced the video of him diving on the football in the mud in training camp, and I think he's a perfect combination of he's got the old school mentality. He's an old school coach. You're going to go out there and work, but at the same time, he has enough of this, new school recovery. Let's take care of the guys in his mentality that it's kind of like the perfect combination. So again, I'm fired up to get up there. Can't wait to go to work.
Did he say anything about that watch that you just flexed on the camera right there?
It's fake.
Nice.
Hey, me too. Me too. You know what I mean? Me as well, pal. But when
nobody asks you if it's fake when you're a professional football player. They just assume it's real.
I've told this story before. I had these massive, obnoxious earrings I wore in college. As soon as I get in the NFL, same exact earrings, same exact group of friends. How much are those? It's like, these are the same shitty-ass Claire's earrings. This is the same one. And especially when every contract that you have is very public. Like, for instance, we knew exactly how much money you were making, when you're making it, and everything like that. It's a much different world.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. What do you have, Diggs?
Kyle, have you talked to Evan Ingram yet and told him that, hey, he's going to have to move to wide receiver? There's a new tight end in town?
Yeah, I talked to Evan a little bit yesterday, and that's what Evan does best. I mean, he does things that I would never imagine doing out there on the field, and he's phenomenally talented at being a pass catcher. And like I said, I think at one point last year they even gave him a handoff. Like,
you taking any handoffs?
I've never gotten a handoff. They would put me at fullback maybe and be like, all right, you're the lead blocker, but we are never handing you the football. So he has a completely different skill set than I do. And he's a Pro Bowler, voted in last year to the Pro Bowler. So extremely talented, just another weapon on this offense. And I think our styles can really complement one another because we are completely different.
Did you talk to Jason Garrett?
I did. So Jason went to dinner with us the other night. And,
Was he doing
this?
this?
He's as good as they come. Yeah, he's good.
Was he doing this?
I didn't see any of that, no.
Oh, okay, that's good. That's great news, by the way, because in Dallas, now that we're learning more about what potentially happens behind the scenes, he had to go out there and literally just kind of, okay, all right, for a long time. And I think he was maybe misjudged for a long time, kind of like what's potentially happening with Bill O'Brien in Houston and everything like that. What is he like as a dude? Seems like a genuine good guy, huh?
Yeah, great dude. I really, really enjoyed, both my phone call with him before I signed and then dinner the other night. Just extremely down to earth. And obviously he's been at it for a long time as a player and as a coach, and had all kinds of unbelievable stories of, obviously Jason Witten, a guy that played my position that we talked about before. But just, all of his years, both as a player and as a coach. And, I really enjoyed just hanging out, having dinner with him and talking football.
What'd you guys eat?
We went to an Italian place.
Jersey?
It was unbelievable. So it was north of the city in Rye, which is about 40 minutes north of Manhattan. But that's one of our family friends lives up there. And like you said, that's.
Yeah.
But it was a cool little town, an unbelievable restaurant. The chef, huge Giants fan. So it was a ton of fun.
Chicken parm? We go chicken parm. We go a little pasta.
We kind of had a little bit of everything. So we sat down and basically chef asked if we didn't like anything. And my wife is Italian, so she just was in heaven. And he pretty much just brought out like a bunch of different things. And it was one of the best meals I've ever had.
Wow.
A lot of Italians in Minnesota or no?
Not really. We're imported. We're not really from here.
Hey, by the way, Indiana, not a lot of Italians. It's a shame. I grew up in Pittsburgh. Too many Italians. And it's you don't realize what the Italians bring to the city until you go to like Indiana, where there's no Italians. It's like, can I get some chicken parm from a place? And then you're like, yeah, you got Puccini's or whatever. It's a drive-thru. It's like, it's still going to be good. But the Italians over there in Jersey, your wife is going to be thrilled to be back. The energy, the hands, oh my God, the culture, everything. Ty, what do you have?
Kyle, you mentioned a couple of your previous coaches. What was your relationship with Kevin Stefanski like? And because you saw guys going all the time, did you know like mid-year, like, oh, okay, this guy's probably not going to be around for much longer?
Yeah, totally. I mean, I saw Kevin climb the ladder as quick as anyone in that industry. He went from when I got here as a rookie, we were both about as low as it gets on the totem pole. You know, I was a rookie and he was the head coach's assistant. And then a couple years later,
that job stinks. Head coach's assistant.
Yeah. You're making copies and making copies and getting copies for everybody. That's pretty much your job full time. And then, he works his way up. He becomes the assistant quarterback coach. And then, so after Coach Frazier got fired, they hired Coach Zimmer. Coach Zimmer made him the tight end coach. So I had him in my room for 2 years. Oh. And then it was straight, he went from tight end room to running back room. So unbelievable upgrade. He got to coach Adrian Peterson. So obviously that made him look good. And then he went from Adrian in the running back room to the quarterback room. And he was only in the quarterback room for 1 year. And then he's offensive coordinator. And at that point, he's on the fast track. And I'm not surprised by his success. When he took over our room as a coordinator and he was in charge of the room, running meetings, you could just see a calm, cool demeanor about him. Like he just, he was a high school player in Philly, played at Penn. His dad's unbelievably successful as a GM in the NBA. Like you could just tell nothing was too big for him. He was calm, cool. He knew how to run a room. And you knew he was going to be a head coach really quickly.
The dog pound has to be so thrilled. Freddie Kitchen was running draws on 4th and 15. Mm-hmm. Then Stefanski comes. That was
Freddie's tight end coach.
His coach
for the Giants.
Yeah.
Oh shit. That's on me.
They just saw Freddie yesterday.
Good guy.
Good dude.
That's on me, Freddie. Hey, listen, there's probably things that I didn't know.
Love you, Freddie.
Thank you, Freddie.
Love you.
All right. Hey, listen, good luck. This was going very well. That's on me. I forgot about that move. I love Freddie. Hey, listen, I'm a big fan.
Hey, we can pivot 4 years ago to the day we were partying in Vegas together. So we'll change the subject real quick.
Hey, great time in Vegas, by the way.
March Madness, absolutely.
Hey, March Madness. Notre Dame stinks, huh?
Oh yeah, they're terrible.
What's that all about, dude?
It was a rough year. Notre Dame basketball. Obviously I follow Notre Dame basketball that's where I went to school. But then my family all has season tickets down in Lexington. My mom's one of 11, born and raised in Kentucky. So, that was terrible.
Oh, not good at all.
Not good at all. So it was a rough year. I joked around. I'm like, if I filled out a bracket right now, I might as well fill out the European Cricket League bracket. Like I have no idea what's going on in college basketball. I know nothing.
You're not the only one. We all lost massive amounts of money. I mean, massive amounts of money over here because the little piece of Vegas has moved to Indiana and the sports gambling, and this college March Madness thing has been just, befuddling. But the good thing about the Kentucky squad in Big Blue Nation, Calipari didn't come out early when he knew their team was going to stink and say, let's not have a season. Yeah. Coach K did do that.
Yeah,
Coach K was like, we don't even want to, let's not have a season because our team's going to stink. Calipari took it right in the chop. So I kind of respect that out of him.
Yeah, no, they certainly did not have a good year, but he does it. Most of the time they have a ton of talent and they put the pieces together, but you look at those teams almost every year, they take it on the chops early in the year, but most of the time they figure it out. And this year there was no figuring it out. It was a tough year for Big Blue Nation and the Cats. They're already looking forward to next year.
The cavalry was not coming over the hill.
No.
Who's that lady, the famous actress lady? She's
Ashley Judd.
Ashley Judd, yeah. She always has that March Madness moment where inevitable heartbreak comes or whatever.
Yep.
No. Anyways, I can't wait to do that to Kyle Rudolph now that I know he's a big Kentucky Wildcat. Good luck in New York. Good luck with recovery. We appreciate you joining us, and congrats on everything, man.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. It's always fun chatting with you.
You gonna get a big old house in Jersey, so you have some trees like you got back there in Minnesota, or what are you gonna do?
No, you can have a lot more room up here in Minnesota. In Jersey, we ain't getting no trees.
Hey, Zillow in Jersey and New York is no fun. Indiana, Minnesota, Zillow is a great time. What do you have, Z?
You can buy Tony Soprano's house. It's for sale right now.
That'd be awesome.
Go ahead and make that happen, Kyle. Become the best player in the NFL overnight. Ladies and gentlemen, Kyle Rudolph.